The consent agenda. We have several items on there. We'll ask for an update on one of them, but we'll moved by Councillor McGarity and seconded by the Deputy Mayor that the consent agenda be adopted. And so I guess we'll speak to one of them and then we'll go on the vote. There was a request by a councillor for an update on the City of Fredericton ball fields needs assessment feasibility study. Would Dave Seabrook be on the line?
I am, Your Worship.
If you could give us a high-level update on that, David, please.
Well, the ball field assessment study was requested by council to look at the condition of our ball fields and what fields needed to be renewed, and what the demand was for our fields, and going into the future for baseball, and a little bit of a look at the future demand for cricket. And as a highlight, the report points us towards the strong immediate need for a new Bantam field that is proposed for Royals Field back. Those are familiar with Royals Field. And also to begin investigation and design of a quad field, four-field tournament space that would accommodate larger tournaments and sport tourism along with our daily needs. And in the process of doing that, we would consider decommissioning 3 fields and turning them back to passive use. And those 3 fields will be yet to be determined. But so that's the highlights of the report.
Okay. Councillor Dare, is that fine? Good. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the consent agenda? All those against? Motion's carried. Item 6, approval of agenda or approval of minutes of the March 9th, April 14th, May 11th.
Your
and May.
Worship?
Yes.
Sorry. Deputy Mayor had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor. We've moved and seconded, but please speak up.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Speak very loud, or a microphone has to be turned up somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to speak briefly about this. One thing that wasn't addressed in the report, and we talked about it during the presentation and council had that conversation, is the lack of a lidded adult baseball field. That's something that's been missing in the community for a number of years. For use-wise, for sport tourism-wise, and I think one of the reasons it was overlooked perhaps was due to the fact that there's the Odell Park plan is going on, so a little unknown what's going to happen with Thompson Field and that sort of area. But regardless, Thompson Field and Fisher Field, the other 2 adult fields, and in addition to Royals, really aren't set up very well for any type of major tournaments. They need to have lighting. There's not enough parking. So I'd like to just, I don't want staff to lose sight of it or council to lose sight of it, and perhaps a discussion we can have at future budgets as we move forward. Because this is an area that I've heard loud and clear for many years, and something that's not going away. Thank you.
Thank you. Duly noted. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. So the approval of the minutes, the 4 minutes, be moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Price. I assume Councillor Price on the line? Yeah. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Now, we have something that we always like doing here, and we have the 25-year service award for Marlene Ross. Marlene, could you come on up? Right beside me, please and thanks. No, don't come. No, that was pre-COVID. Sorry, you go over to the podium. Still getting used to all this. Sorry about that. Could you introduce your family or guests with you? Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Marlene became a full-time employee with the City of Fredericton January 1st, 1995, but she started working with the city as a casual employee in March of 1991. So practically, this is her 29th anniversary with the city. She started at the service center, and in 1999, she was seconded to help implement the fee collection system using Cogsdale. In 2001, she moved to the water utility building after Cogsdale was implemented, where she stayed until 2010. In 2010, she brought a big change to her career with the city. Marlene was promoted supervisor of the service center and accounts receivable unit. Also in 2010, Marlene completed an accounting and business computer applications course at Eastern College while doing her day job of upgrading the fee collection system to the newer version. That would have been a busy time for you. After her years of service with the city, Marlene also has trained over 25 full-time staff members and about 40 students over the years. Marlene's success rate in preparing her trained employees for promotion is extremely high. In terms of systems, Marlene has joined the city before email was implemented, and over her career has worked with many software platforms like VAX, Banner, Cogsdale, Oracle, Excella, Class, Legend, and Amelia. Marlene has always been part of the financial team, and over her 25 years has worked with so many customers, staff, and managers, and has adapted to many changes in her department, including technology and service expectations. She's resilient and made the most of all changes and challenges. Marlene likes to go canoeing on the river, which she calls her heaven. Her canoeing buddy for 23 years is her partner, Brian McAloon. Marlene has a soft spot for dogs, that's nice, and refers to them as her fur babies. Marlene also enjoys baking and cooking and loves to share her delicious recipes with Brian and her two children, Ricky and Carly. So Marlene, thank you very much for your 25-year service. I've said it here many times. Our city is just as good is only as good as our employees, and we have fantastic employees. And we have employees that work in the back offices, the back rooms, and front-facing jobs. And you've done a little bit of both. And our success is attributed to the qualities that you bring to the job, and to the passion you bring to the job. And you've seen a lot in your 25 years, a lot of change, and you've adapted to a lot of it, and you've helped bring us forward as a city and and made us successful. So thanks for everything you've done. Thanks to your family for the support, and thanks for the 25 years. And we have a little gift to give you. Normally we'd be right up here, but anybody want to take a picture? Come on right over and take a picture. Come on. No. And you're welcome to spend the rest of the night with us if you want, but you're also allowed to go home. Thanks, Marlene. We'll move on to first and second reading of bylaws. 8.1, bylaw number A22, a code of conduct bylaw. Councillor Erickson, sorry, would you take that? No, sorry, Councillor McDermott. You're the, you and Peters were lead on that. I apologize. Yep.
Thanks, Your Worship. Be resolved that bylaw number 822, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for the members of the City Council of the City of Fredericton, be given first reading by title.
That be seconded by Councillor Peters. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion passes.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 822, a bylaw establishing a code of conduct for members of the City Council of the City of Fredericton, be given second reading by title.
Be seconded by Councillor Peters. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. Item 8.2, bylaw number T1107, reinstate two-way traffic on Carlton. Councillor Dara.
Thank you, Worship. So this will be after the building in Carlton is completed. Be it resolved that bylaw number T-1.107, a bylaw to amend bylaw number T-1, bylaw to regulate traffic, be given first reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor McGarity. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. Carry on.
Be it resolved that bylaw number T-1.107, a bylaw to amend bylaw number T-1, a bylaw to regulate traffic, be given second reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor McGarity. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. And thank you to those connecting through Zoom. You're very good with the hands up and the hands down there and the technology. Doing a good job tonight. Item 8.3, bylaw number T734, pay by plate, pay station, and single meter changes. Councillor Dara.
Thank you, Worship. Another item that was brought forward through Transportation Committee last week. This is mainly for Carlton Street, where the new building is going to be, 140 Carlton is going to be up and running. So on the east side of Carlton. Be it resolved that bylaw number T-7.34, a bylaw to amend bylaw number T-7, a bylaw to regulate parking meters, parking zones, and pay and display machines, be given first reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? All those against? Motion is carried. Carry on.
Be it resolved that bylaw number T-7.34, a bylaw to amend bylaw number T-7, a bylaw relating to parking meters, parking zones, and pay and display machines, be given second reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor McGarity, Councillor Keenan. On the question? All those in favor? Those against? Motion is carried. Item 8.4, bylaw Z5 196 616 620 Forest Hill Road, rezoning. Councillor Erickson.
Thank you, Worship. Be it resolved that the report of the Planning Advisory Committee dated 17 July 2020 with respect to an application from Bella Properties to rezone property from R2 and R4 to MR5 to allow construction of a 56-unit apartment building be received.
Be seconded by Councillor Dara. Okay. On the question. Councillor Dara.
At PAC, the applicant wasn't present, and I noticed in Zoom earlier at the beginning of the meeting that the applicant was here. I'm just wondering if the applicant wanted to say anything or anything like that.
I
City
guess
Clerk?
if he wants to, he can do it during the hearing of objections, which is next.
Makes no difference to me. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that we don't
Yeah.
miss the applicant, that's all.
Yep, I'm here.
So if we could just take the vote on the receipt of the Planning
Yeah,
Advisory
we'll do the
Committee, and
we'll
we'll
do the
ask
vote
him
on
during
that.
the hearing of objections if he'd like to speak. That
Right, we'll do that. So all those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. City Clerk, hearing of objections and support.
Thank you, Worship. The Office of the City Clerk has not received any letters of objection or support.
Okay.
And at this time, if anybody would like to speak, they can let us know.
Okay. This is first and second, isn't it? Yes. So first reading of bylaw. So Councillor Erickson, carry on. Sorry.
Certainly, Your Worship.
Just,
Be it resolved. Sorry, City Clerk.
do we just double check to make sure that he didn't want to speak, Mr. El-Zayat?
I'm okay. I don't need to speak. Last time, the last meeting, I couldn't get on, so I
Okay.
was given the wrong code. But I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. You're here for questions if somebody has any for you. So Councillor Erickson.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.196, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the City of Fredericton, be given first reading by title.
Second by Councillor Dara. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Councillor Dara, did you want to speak? Just before I pass the motion?
I noticed that Councillor Grandy has his hand up,
Did he? Okay, sorry, I didn't.
so I'm not
I
sure.
couldn't spot that.
No, it's Councillor Keenan's got his hand up, not me.
Okay, Councillor Keenan.
We do look a lot alike, so you can be forgiven for that, Kevin. Just a question for Mr. El-Zayat. Gabby, what's the market like now for building new apartments, and what's the market like out there right now from your perspective? You've got quite a few rentals.
Well, we've actually in the process of finishing our 44 unit on Clark Street on the north side, and in the last 2 weeks, well, we haven't finished the building. We're about 10% to finish, probably another 3 weeks. We've got 3/4 of the building rented, and this week has been an absolute craze for apartments. And I really don't know, there's no way of describing it, but it's unreal, the amount of people that are looking for apartments.
So you'll be keen to get the next one going, and
absolutely. And as
Well,
a matter of fact, I was looking to get this building next year, but I'm going to try to do whatever I can to start both buildings on Beaverbrook and Forest Hill this year.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that's my goal.
Okay, yeah. Any news on the Queen Street property?
That's in the planning now for hopefully for next year. That's why I want to get a few things out of the way this year so I can start that next year. Yeah.
Great, thank you. You can call me out of order for not staying on the topic, Your Worship, but I did have a question for staff, and it just relates to, this is a 4-story that you're proposing here. Is that right, Gabby?
It is a 4-story. Now, maybe it's not the right timing to speak, but if I may, I might as well do that. It was supposed to be 5-story, but I ran out of time and we couldn't change it in the last minute. So it is 4-story as of now with underground parking, but we are potentially may come back and ask you for, we may look at that down the road.
One more.
Okay, we'll have to end that
more.
one to that one because we're dealing with the 4-story one here tonight.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
It does relate to my question though. So can you still use wood on a taller building, Gabby?
We can now. So last with the people in the office down in City Hall, and they've allowed us now with the right engineer on staff to be able to go 5 and 6 stories, which is going to change a lot here going forward. So
Right.
our Beaverbrook property will have somewhat, from the back, it'll be 5. So that'll be our first project going forward. Yeah.
Great. Could we have staff comment on that as well, Your Worship?
On the
On the increase in building height?
certainly we can ask is Ken Forrest online?
Tony's there, or
Your Worship, I can speak generally to.
Just a second, Ken. Just a second, Ken. Yes. Yeah, your mic. Yeah.
Your Worship, look, as interesting as this might be, I'm going to call a point of order.
Yeah.
Because it's not on the topic.
Yep.
We wish Mr. Elzayat well.
Yep.
But that's not the topic that we're voting on tonight.
Yeah. I'll agree with Councillor Chase on that. But we'll definitely can ask Mr. Forrest to follow up with Councillor Keenan. Councillor Keenan, okay?
sure thing. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So we had a mover and a seconder. So all those in favor of the motion? Against? Motion is carried. I think we're second reading still to go. Councillor Erickson?
Thank you, Worship. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-5.196, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z-5, a zoning bylaw for the city of Fredericton, be given second reading by title.
Be seconded by Councillor Dara. On the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. Item 9.1, NBX contribution agreement and planning consultation statement of work. That would be Jeff Trail, our deputy CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just wait for Adam to get the slides up there. Thank you, Adam. Go to the next slide, please. So thank you, Your Worship. I'm pleased to be here this evening to give an update on the partnership arrangement that we have now, a renewed partnership relationship with the Fredericton Exhibition Limited, which was initiated back, it's hard to believe, almost a year and a half ago in February 2019. You'll recall roughly 12 months ago, we formalized appointment of a joint land development committee. Would have been started meeting, I guess, in July of 2019. And we've met a couple of significant milestones this evening that I'm going to give you an update on, and a two-part recommendation related to both the contribution agreement between the city and the exhibition and the appointment of a planning consultant to initiate the development of a site plan. Just as a reminder and an acknowledgement, the Joint Land Development Committee is comprised of 10 individuals, 2 members of council, 2 members of the board of the exhibition, and 4 members of the public, supported by 2 staff persons, Mike Volke for the exhibition and myself. Mike and I have served as the interim co-chairs of this team now for the last 12 months, and Mr. Volke is on the line this evening if there are any questions for him as well. I wanted to acknowledge the work that's gone into this up to this point in time. The team has met on at least a monthly basis since last July, and getting into the evaluation process for the planning consultant, we in fact added additional meetings. So they've been remarkably dedicated and have spent quite a number of evenings at the Capitol Exhibit Center for the last year, reaching this point. So the contribution agreement is a commitment to the creation of a site development plan, which requires, is required rather, as part of, I guess the plan is required before any additional development can be done on this site as a condition of the current municipal plan. It's intended that this site plan will ultimately be adopted under the Community Planning Act in alignment with the South Core Plan, and will be made official under the Community Planning Act, and will be performed by an accredited professional. It won't just simply be a bunch of folks getting together to decide what they want to do with the site. As part of that, of course, this costs some money, and so the contribution agreement is required to assign who's paying for what and how those costs will be repaid. So this will be the first discrete decision made by both the city and the MBX in terms of investment into the creation of the plan, and then further after that to execute on the plan. And the funds will be repaid to the city as revenues are created from the development of the site, either through sale or lease of pieces of the property. So the first charge will be to repay any development costs to the city. Additional revenues will allow the NBX to grow and prosper, both, or rather either on the existing site or in additional sites. And of course, the added benefit to the city is that presumably development on the site would result in tax-based growth and additional property tax revenue over time. Each of those investments as they're made, and at this point, we're not saying that we're looking for an authority to make any additional assessment or investment beyond the creation of the plan. But as those proposals are brought forward for investment in the site, the repayment terms for each of those investments will be determined at that time and approved by both the board of NBX and yourselves as City Council. Second part of the recommendation this evening is the result of a selection process to identify a planning consultant. In January of this year, the committee released a request for proposals supported by the City Purchasing Department. As a result of that call for proposals, we had 7 qualified responses. Each of those responses was scored individually by the committee members. Eventually, they were collectively scored together, and finally shortlisted, and 2 of the final proponents were interviewed for selection. The recommendation is to enter into a contract, a statement of work with O2 Planning and Design. O2 is an urban design firm with planning and public engagement expertise based in Calgary, Alberta. As part of their consortium bid, they're supported by FBM Architecture, who will perform market analysis, land use planning, and some of the public engagement and economic analysis functions. They are based in Halifax. And finally, on the technical side, the engineering firm CBCL based here, their staff based here in Fredericton, will support the technical, the civil infrastructure requirements of the plan. O2 Planning and Design, as I mentioned, is based in Alberta. Just to give you a few highlights of some of their experience, they would have worked on a similar site in Edmonton, the Edmonton Exhibition Lands. They've also done a recent project in Ottawa on the LeBreton Flats. They've also worked on a downtown area plan in the town of High River. They created a master plan for the Civic Center in Airdrie, and they've done work for the Calgary Municipal Land Corporation. Their partners have done work on and strong. What was very important to the Joint Land Development Committee, they demonstrated a very strong engagement plan. We know that this site has been a challenge in terms of approach to how they're going to gather input from various stakeholders at various stages before they get started, as they start to create concepts of the plan, and then in final validation. The timeline for starting is this fall. So obviously things have changed considerably since January when we did release the RFP. But based on our current plan, we would start the engagement and initial work early, probably the second week of September after Labor Day, which is not that far away at this point. And the goal would be to complete this exercise before the end of the calendar year. Obviously, if COVID restricts some of our engagement activities, that may have an impact on the overall timeline, but the committee felt strongly that we had the right partner, and we'll have to deal with any delays as they may come. And finally, on the consulting agreement, we have an approximate cost of $100,000. I think it's $99,300, so close enough to $100,000. And so the recommendation for your consideration this evening is approval and execution of the contribution agreement per the resolution, and approval of an engagement of O2 Planning and Design and a statement of work. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there any questions for Mr. Trejo? No hands on the screen. Okay. So I'll, I guess the motions will moved by Councillor Price and seconded by the Deputy Mayor. There are 2 council representatives on that committee. So on the question, Councillor Chase.
Are the second mover going to read the resolution? We haven't read the resolution.
Yeah, so we should, okay, so Councillor Price, you with us?
I'm here, Mayor.
If you could read the resolutions, please.
Sure. Be it resolved that the Council of the City of Fredericton authorizes and approves the agreement between the City of Fredericton and Fredericton Exhibition Limited agreement for a term of 10 years commencing on January 1st, 2020 and expiring on December 31st, 2030, which sets out the terms of investment and repayment of funds required to prepare the lands as defined under the agreement for development, and that the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the municipality and such further legal documents as may be required to facilitate this resolution. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Fredericton hereby approves the engagement of O2 Planning and Design to create a site development plan for the lands, and that the funds be used from the Growth and Community Development approved 2020 budget for those purposes.
It be seconded by the Deputy Mayor. So on the question on the resolution, all those in favor of the motion? Those against? The motion is carried. Mr. Volke, you're on the line. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and all the councillors for your involvement and support in seeing this move forward, and congratulate the committee on persevering through some what could have been challenges, going straight through to COVID. It's been an excellent working on the committee, very positive and very productive. So I thank everybody who's served on the committee, and again I thank my board and council for helping put this together.
Thank you, Mike, and give our thanks to your team as well. And I do want to thank everybody that's been on that committee working hard. I knew this would be a tough issue and a lot of things to discuss and some strong opinions, but from everything I've heard, they've been very productive meetings, and everybody's focused on the end goal, which is to find a way to make the best we can for that property for the city of Fredericton, and also to re-energize and respect the great 200-year history and heritage of the NBX, and make everything better for everybody. So this is a real milestone. Some of us have been around for a while, have been engaged in this file for a long time, and sometimes 10 years ago you may have thought there'd be no progress made, but you know what? I think everybody realized that it's time to cooperate on, and they have, and we are. So this is a great milestone. There's still some challenges ahead. The public consultation is going to be a real milestone as well, and I look forward to hearing the public's contributions to this, and eventually marching forward to a real solid, well thought out, respectful plan that is going to help all parties. So congratulations again, everybody, and to the NBX board and to council and staff that have been working hard on this and helping drive it forward. That's a big night. So a motion to excuse Councillor Rogers. That'd be moved by Councillor Malay and second by Councillor McDermott on the question. All those in favor of the motion? Those against? Motion's carried. And a motion to adjourn, that would be Peters and Price. All those in favor? Against? That is unanimous. The meeting's ended. Thank you, everybody.
This is Giselle. If the following people could please stay behind to answer some questions for journalists.